So, we're going to briefly go over what is going on with the DEA application and what you should do next if you're looking to apply. So, this all went down this past April of 2026 when the Trump administration moved two categories of cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. So, that's from being considered a highly addictive substance to a substance with recognized medical benefits. And this is where a lot of people got confused because the broad category of cannabis did not get moved to Schedule 3. It is just the FDA approved cannabis products and cannabis products operating within a qualifying state medical marijuana license framework. So at this point, adult use and unlicensed cannabis remain federally prohibited under Schedule 1. So, just to drive all that home, this is not full legalization. It is a medical only federal compliance pathway, and businesses really need to understand where they fit into that.
Yeah, so who does this affect currently? Right now, just medical dispensaries, but cultivators, manufacturers, processors, distributors, and testing labs should still be watching closely because they will be next. Just because you are a state licensed medical cannabis business does not automatically mean you are compliant simply because rescheduling happened. You will need a DEA registration in order to operate lawfully under the new Schedule 3 framework. The biggest benefit is that you may finally get relief from the 280E tax impact, which blocks ordinary business deductions like rent, payroll, and marketing. Only qualifying medical cannabis businesses have the option to receive that right now. Businesses that apply before June 26th will receive an expedited review and will be able to continue operating under their state license while the DEA processes the application.
Exactly. And that date is coming up quick. So, what should operators have ready in order to apply? So, at minimum, you should be preparing your active state medical cannabis license documentation, your business information, ownership details, operating location information, compliance procedures, inventory controls, your security information, and then the required federal payment. And don't just assume that this is a basic form. The application can raise sensitive questions, especially around prior controlled substance activity and whether the business handles adult use cannabis. So that's exactly why this is not something to rush through at the last minute. You'll want to review your documents, your ownership structure, your state license status, your inventory practices, and your operational procedures before submitting. So there's a lot of pieces in there, and that's why you'll just want to get ahead of the game right now.
Yeah, so let's quickly talk about the dual use businesses. So that's operators serving both medical and adult use consumers. This is one of the biggest risk areas. So if you operate medical and adult use under the same roof, you may need to separate inventory, tracking, accounting, and your compliance records so that your Schedule 3 medical activity is clearly isolated from your Schedule 1 adult use activity. That separation matters for compliance. It may also matter for tax strategy, deductions, audits, reporting, and any future DEA follow-ups. So, this is where a lot of operators can get into trouble. They may qualify on the medical side, but their internal systems are not clearly separated. So, that could create problems later.
Right. And at Canna Business Services, this is exactly the type of issue that we help operators think through before they submit, because the application is only one part of the process. But the real work is making sure the business can support what it's actually submitting. So, our biggest advice to operators out there is just do not wait until June 26th. If your state license documentation is outdated, or if ownership information doesn't match, if your compliance procedures are incomplete, your inventory controls are not documented, or if security information needs work, you may not have enough time to fix it if you push this off till just a couple days before. And if the DEA follows up with questions, you'll need to be ready to respond clearly and quickly. Waiting until the deadline just creates unnecessary stress. But if you start now, it gives you plenty of time to identify problems, correct that missing information, and submit a stronger application.
Another reason that this matters is that the broader cannabis rescheduling conversation is not over. So the April order addressed a medical carve out, but the DEA is also scheduled to begin administrative hearings on June 29th of this year to evaluate broader rescheduling questions, including whether cannabis as a whole should be moved more broadly to Schedule 3. So we'll cover that when the time comes, but the takeaway for today is simple. This is a major opportunity for medical operators, but it is not simple, it's not automatic, and it's not risk-free.
Yeah, definitely not. And it's really an exciting time to be in this industry right now. And this is where it's such a good idea to have someone on your side supporting you through these decisions and processes so that you don't have to spend all of your time and energy stressing about it. But instead, you can focus on what you're amazing at, which is operating your business. And so this is what we do all day, just preparing for licensing and compliance moments exactly like this. So we can help you understand what documentation you need, organize your application materials, review your operational readiness, and supporting you all the way through the DEA follow up. So reach out to us if you're ready to start this process strongly and strategically on a good foot. And we're happy to offer you a complimentary consultation session. Otherwise, get started on your application immediately. And just remember that businesses that prepare early will be in the strongest position. We'll keep you updated and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.